Hello everyone, I'm Liz Beckwith, and today I will be discussing how social classes influence families in the United States. We'll explore the impact of social classes on opportunities, family dynamics, and inequality. We'll also consider ways that we can address these issues together. First, I want to explain what social class is. Social class is a system that categorizes people based on economic and social factors such as income, occupation, education, wealth. It deeply influences life chances and opportunities, shaping not only our immediate circumstances, but also our long-term potential, from access to quality education, healthcare, housing, job opportunities, and community resources. Social class plays a significant role in determining the paths available to individuals and families. Those in larger social classes typically have greater access to resources that can help them achieve success, while those in lower classes often face systematic barriers that limit their opportunities. Understanding this system is essential to recognizing the challenges that many families face, in which inequality is uh, carried on throughout generations. It also highlights the need for policies and initiatives to address these disparities to create more of an equitable society. Two key concepts that help us understand the role of social class in families is life chances and social capital. The life chances refer to the opportunities on which we have to succeed based on our social class, while social capital involves the networks and resources that we can access. Families with more social capital have better chances of passing on advantages to their children, which can in turn help maintain their social class for generations. Social class is passed down in several ways, with key factors such as education, financial resources, and social networking, which play a significant role in shaping a child's future. Higher class families often have greater access to quality education, including private schools and better funded public schools, along with the ability to afford college tuition, provide tutoring, extracurricular activities, summer programs, you name it, which lower class families cannot usually afford. However, higher class families often have established social networks that can provide valuable connections, more job opportunities, mentorships, which further contribute to the upward mobility of their children. These networks can open doors in ways that just aren't available to those in lower social classes. In contrast, family in lower social classes often face a lack of these resources, making it more difficult for the children to break out of the cycle of poverty. They have limited access to quality education and healthcare, making it harder for their children to excel academically or even just stay healthy. Financial insecurity can also create stress within the family, reducing resources available for educational support and extracurricular involvement. These factors collectively make it more challenging for the children from lower incomes to achieve the same level of success and upward mobility as those from higher social classes. The wealth gap between rich and poor families in the United States is growing at a very alarming rate. For example, the wealthiest families are now 70 times more wealth than the poorest, and it has widened in recent decades. Inequality is driven by several interrelated factors. One key factor is that the decline of manufacturing jobs, which once provided a stable, well-paying employment for many working-class families. As these jobs have disappeared due to automation and outsourcing, many workers have been left without viable alternatives. The housing market has also contributed to this, with rising home prices making it harder for lower income families to build wealth throughout home ownership. Meanwhile, the healthy families can leverage the real estate investments to further increase their wealth. Obviously, this all contributes to increasing the gap throughout the United States between the rich and the poor. Poverty is a significant issue in the U.S. Over 14% of Americans live in poverty, and many experience fluctuating poverty throughout their lives. Certain groups, such as children and the elderly and single-parent families, are the most vulnerable to poverty because of the lack of health care and additional resources needed. But it's also important to note that poverty affects individuals across all different racial and ethnic groups, though African Americans and Latinos have been shown to experience the highest rates. One challenge many working class individuals face is the cultural mismatch within the middle class institutions like schools and workplaces. For example, colleges often value independence and individual achievement, while working and family classes tend to prioritize interdependence and community. This mismatch can lead to stress and lower academic performance, particularly in the first-generation college students. I would like everyone to take a moment and think about this question. How do societal institutions unintentionally disadvantage working class families? Just think about that for a second. What sort of things in the workplace would be a disadvantage for the working class families, and how would we address those? So moving on from that question, social class does not only shape our opportunities, but also our behaviors. Research shows that individuals from higher social classes tend to be more individualistic and competitive, while those from working class backgrounds are often more cooperative and pro-social. The difference in the values can affect everything from how we approach work to how we interact with others. Individualism can sometimes foster negative behaviors, while cooperation tends to promote more positive social interactions. So, how might these values and behaviors that are shaped by social class affect relationship and opportunities in our society? Personally, I think that various networking through social classes, I think about various networking through social classes and how that affects the growth in areas, but I want to hear your thoughts first and what you might think those behaviors and how, or what you think those behaviors are and how they affect the opportunities. Wealth gap is a growing issue, like I said before. The top 1% of income earners in the U.S. have seen their income grow over 2,000% in recent decades. This disparity continues to have significant implications for family, creating a divide that limits opportunities for many Americans. It's important to consider this wealth gap and how it affects not only individuals, but entire communities. That's one reason why I harp on it so much within this lecture. While we often focus on race and gender as sources of diversity, social class is just as important. Social class shapes our identities and the opportunities that are available to us, but they recognize social class as an important form of diversity that we can work to create a more inclusive and supportive society for all individuals, regardless of their background. To reflect, I think about how recognizing social class diversity helps create more of an equitable communities. I would say that when we acknowledge social class as a form of diversity, we're more likely to develop empathy to those who are in those experiences and have those struggles, and we can recognize how they're different from our own. Understanding that person's background, opportunities, and life experiences and how they're shaped by their social class is really important because it helps reduce judgment and promotes more of a compassion within society and within workplaces. For example, recognizing that a working class family may face different barriers in education or healthcare than what a wealthier family would encourages solidarity rather than division. But I would, once again, like to hear your thoughts. So family structure plays a crucial role in the persistence of social class as it directly impacts financial stability and access to resources. Single parent families, particularly those headed by women, are more likely to face an economic challenge or economic challenges and experiences higher rates of poverty due to lower household incomes and the absence of a second income. Additionally, the way parents provide emotional support and educational guidance and financial resources can differ significantly across social classes. Middle and upper class families often have more access to educational tools, social networks, etc., that enhance these opportunities versus the poorer families who are unable to get those types of resources. The cumulative effect of these disparities can contribute to the intergenerational transmission of poverty, making it harder for children from disadvantaged backgrounds to break free from the cycle of the lower class. U.S. government, of course, their efforts to address poverty have been limited to outdated policies and insufficient social safety nets. For example, the poverty line, which was established in 1963, did not reflect the increased cost of families face today for healthcare and childcare. Poverty in the United States remain higher than many other developed countries, largely due to the weaker social support systems. However, there's still opportunities to advocate for the policy changes that could make a real difference. So in conclusion, the social class is a critical factor in shaping family life in the United States. It affects everything from education to health to relationships. Understanding how social class works and recognizing the systematic barriers that many families face is the first step in creating change. We each have a role to play in fostering a society that helps provide equitable opportunities for all families, regardless of their social class. And here are my resources. Thanks so much for listening.